Sacramento, California, again with the Air Force. Had an opportunity to teach in the public schools there. And we moved back to Georgia, to Marietta, where we had an opportunity. My husband worked at the Lockheed plant, again in the Air Force, and I taught at Marietta High School, a wonderful Blue Devil school. So those were the experiences early in our life that we had. And his career changed greatly when he went to law school at Emory University, and he became a lawyer, and our life here in this community was related to that. And I had a chance to go to Emory graduate school and to continue my studies of education. So that's a little bit about me, Rico. Thank you for asking.
Sure. So what you've been serving on the board here in Peachtree Corners in District 3 for 6 terms. Why did you first get into wanting to run for school board?
Well, you mentioned the number of higher education institutions that I worked at: Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, Oglethorpe University, Morehouse School of Medicine, and Morris Brown College. And in that work, it became so crystal clear to me that unless a student has an excellent K through 12 education, there'd be no way that student could come to any of the institutions that I worked at. And so when we moved here to Gwinnett County, the opportunity came for an open board seat. And there were a number of people in the community who approached Mike, my husband, and then me. Would I be interested in serving on the school board, and would I be interested in running for the office? And I was indeed very interested. By that time, our children were out of high school. I certainly have found in the work that I've been doing on the board that it takes an almost 24-hour experience the family has. And by the time I started my quote unquote political career, our children were in college, and it didn't quite affect their lives as much as it might have had they been in the house. But I was very interested in what I could do as a single citizen to help promote excellence in K-12 education. And so that really is what got me interested. It seemed like the next natural step to the work I'd done in elementary, middle, and high school, and then in colleges and universities. And it's been a fantastic experience. What a great way to know this community. What a great way to be appreciative of how much the community agrees with me that we want an excellent public school education for every student, regardless of their race, regardless of their socioeconomic background.
Sorry, guys, we're frozen again. This rarely happens. Um, Mary Kay should be back shortly. There you are. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Don't know where this is happening.
So uh, K through 12 education
Right.
became terribly, terribly powerful in its importance, given the work that I'd done in colleges and universities. And I'm so very glad that I had that opportunity, and I'm so appreciative the community would allow me to represent them for the number of years that I've been on the board.
Right. It's been a while. Lots of issues, different issues over the last 2 decades of what the school faces from 20 years ago to what we're facing now. Certainly a world of difference. Let's get right into it. Let's get into some of these issues, some of the things coming up. Certainly, it's an election year, so one of the things on the ballot this year for the November 3rd election, which if you had the absentee voter ballot or if you did early voting, you've already voted on this maybe. But if not, it's the E-SPLOST, the Education Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, which is already in effect. So it's not an additional tax. This is the penny tax, and it's an extension of that tax that raises close to $1 billion for Gwinnett County schools over 5 years. So can you tell us a little bit about that, Mary Kay, and what in there is important that we should be aware of so this way we can vote intelligently about this?
Well, thank you, Rico. It is a great opportunity for our community to continue a very, very important initiative that not many states have as an option. In 1997, well, let me say 1996, the Georgia General Assembly passed enabling legislation that would allow every county in the state to determine for itself would they like to use 1 penny out of every dollar spent in the community on a tax that would go to benefit the schools. There already was a special purpose local option sales tax for the county, the libraries, the roads, the parks. But in 1996, that opportunity came our way. And the referendum was brought to the community in 1997 and was overwhelmingly approved. We have done that 5 different times. And Rico, I can say to you in all honesty, if we had not had that 1 penny sales tax over these years when we've had such incredible enrollment in our school system, growing, some would say by leaps and bounds, we
Yes.
would never have been able to provide the facilities that we have in these years. So the special purpose local option sales tax is focused on facilities and reducing bond indebtedness. It's to be used for no other purpose. And so
So,
we have
go
a
ahead. I'm sorry.
continuation. Thank you so much. We have a continuation of the sales tax on the ballot, as Rico, you have mentioned, and it's almost at the bottom of the ballot. You would see my name as a candidate, and just below that, you will find the special purpose local option sales tax initiative, yes or no. Now, as a sitting member of the board, I cannot have any influence over what you do with that, but I can urge you to look at it and to read the language and to begin to, again, appreciate what a great contribution that 1 penny has made. It built the Paul Duke High School,
Mm-hmm.
the Paul Duke STEM School. It built Norcross High School. It built Stripling Elementary School. These are schools here in District 3 in the Norcross cluster. And it has built 79 schools, all open debt-free since the special purpose local option sales tax was authorized. And so the community has an opportunity again to see what we might be able to do to extend it. So it would be our 6th SPLOST, as it's called, and it will take place in 2 years for another 4 years.
To me, the E-SPLOST is a godsend, if you will. I mean, I was involved in the parks, on the Parks Authority in Gwinnett County for a while, and same deal there. I mean, if we didn't have the SPLOST to be able to purchase land to make into parks, I mean, we wouldn't have half the parks we have now. Same, obviously, detailing out the schools that have been built, and I'll be a little selfish in Peachtree Corners because this is Peachtree Corners Life. That we've gotten good benefits from the E-SPLOST, paid sales tax by other people, some of us as well, but certainly in a place where the city of Peachtree Corners has about 85% of the people that work here come from other parts of the county and city, not from Peachtree Corners, so they're spending their money here, or at least before COVID, right? They spend their money on hotels, restaurants, and all that. So all that money is being cycled back into the ecosystem. So I'm glad that's out there.
That's a tremendous point to make, that we anticipate that approximately 40% of what will be yielded by the SPLOST will come from people from outside our county coming into this county and making purchases.
Right. And not only does it build schools and infrastructure, capital infrastructure, but it also goes into one-time purchases, right? Updating technology, modernizing safety and security equipment, supporting of digital learning and, whatever that means as far as laptops and all that maybe. Less efficient vehicles are replaced. HVACs need to be replaced, repaired, painting. I mean, there's a whole ton of maintenance that are one-time things that have to be done throughout a system like this, right?
And that's what comes under the definition of the capital purposes.
Yeah.
So anything capital, and then anything that has to do with retiring bond indebtedness.
So get out there, and if you haven't voted yet, hopefully if you did, you voted yes for E-SPLOST, to my listeners and to viewers. So I hope you're out there, doing the right thing, supporting the education system as we see it right now. So Other things going on. Obviously, COVID has done a job to a lot of school systems across the country, to families. Um, we're all, whether you know the fact that some families have faced death in family members, or sickness, or ongoing sickness even after coming back from COVID. I've known friends and people that have still ongoing issues even after coming back from having COVID for a few weeks, or a month. Um, but it's affecting the school system, right? We want to keep our kids safe. Like, we have children. We want to keep them safe. We want to keep our educators safe. But it's affecting the school system, and probably affecting the strategic direction of what the school system's going to be doing over the next decade, right? Because we don't know how long COVID will last. We don't know if we'll have a solution that's an ongoing solution. And we don't know what the next decade will bring, if there's any other pandemic that may arise. So, what challenges do you see right now that the school board is facing over the next, call it, 6 months, that you can share with
Well,
us?
thank you for such a very helpful question, because this does provide a community forum to share information with the community,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and find out also from the community, how are we doing. We are always committed in Gwinnett County Public Schools to what can we do more, better, and differently. So within the next 6 months, we'll face a change from the first semester to the second semester. And we have announced that there will be a choice again for parents and family members, a school choice between in-person learning and online learning. And that opportunity is available online now on the parent portal for every parent to participate in making that choice. And so that's a very, very significant component of what we are facing. In addition, we are facing a continuation of the very excellent work that the school system has been able to do with our teachers, providing those leadership opportunities for our parents to not only have children in class, but online. Rico, in the last 3 weeks, I have visited 18 schools here in the Peachtree Corners and in the District 3 area. And it has just been amazing to me, the innovation that I have witnessed among the principals and the teachers and the staff. It's just been an incredible time to see innovation at its very best. So I will expect that we'll be able to see continuation of that innovation. And by that, what do I mean? Well, we have the mitigation underway in every one of the schools in our county. There's been great direction from the Department of Public Health from Georgia, Department of Public Health here in Gwinnett County, Rockdale, and Newton, from the governor's office, and most especially from Johns Hopkins University, that has a daily dashboard for Gwinnett County revealing how the COVID pandemic is doing here in our community.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
One of the other things that's so very important, and it will continue in the next 6 months, is a daily update on the part of our school system on its website to the parents and community members who want to know how many students, how many staff, how many faculty have been affected with COVID. And there's a formula for getting online. It's right online, and it's by school. So if you want to find out, for example, what's going on at Norcross High School, we have directions for you. Go to the webpage and click on Gwinnett by the numbers. And as you're on that site, you will be able to click down, and you will be able to find the information that has to do with COVID, providing information daily on positive cases, suspected cases, and close contact. And after this podcast, Rico, I think it would be a very helpful thing if you might be able to post the specific steps for our community to be able to follow, because I think this is one of the great innovations that we've been able, and also one of the ways we've been able to establish trust with our community. And the last thing I would say about this is that Many school systems around us have not been able to bring students back yet. We're so very pleased that we're in our third month of face-to-face learning for students who have had such a need to be facing with their teacher. Special education students, those students whose needs are related to the kind of services only they can get in the schools. So we will certainly be expecting a continuation of online and in-person learning.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, right? I mean, I have a high school kid at Paul Duke STEM. He's doing the distance learning. Originally, he thought he was going to go in, but then he decided he wanted the distance learning. And it's working for him. I don't know if it works for every kid,
Right.
but it's certainly working for him, except maybe in calculus. But other than that, he's getting online tutoring from his teachers, which is good because the teachers
That's
are
great.
still doing some of the
That's
online
right.
tutoring. They're doing face to face. Counselors are meeting with the students as well. So if there's any stress or any needs for the tutoring or any questions a student has, they are responding really well. I see, firsthand experience that I can say.
Oh, that's
So
that's
I,
wonderful to hear.
excuse me.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, no, it's good, and as long as he has and he has three AP courses, so it's doing
Oh my
this
God.
online
Rico, I might
can
just
be.
add one other thing.
Yeah,
We were very aware that just as you point out, there's a great bit of stress involved uh, for our students and certainly for our faculty members. And when our students have the opportunity, if they have needs for what is called social emotional learning, we have social workers, we have mental health professionals, we have nurses. So we are staffed, and counselors, of course, school counselors.
sure.
We are staffed to help provide the nurturing that this type of pandemic, something we've never experienced
Hmm.
before, has a way of being mitigated on the part of teachers and on the part of students. So thank you for letting me add that.
Sure thing. So we covered in person and digital learning for a little bit. Certainly, there are challenges for kids that don't that might be in need of the ability to get on Wi-Fi, tablets or laptops because not everyone has that ability or the bandwidth, let's say, on internet to be able to do that. I know that the county has been working towards helping with some of those challenges. Could you share a little bit about what the county may be doing there?
Surely, in terms of our budget, we have had to dip into our reserve funds. We're very pleased we have the reserve funds. We got an initial allotment from the CARES Act, 68 million. And then we have dipped into the reserve fund for our school system so that we could take care of the $100 million reduction in funding that the state allotment provided to us this year.
Right.
The funding that we have used has gone very directly to purchasing Chromebooks for our students, those
Hmm.
who needed them, and purchasing hotspots so that there could be access once a student had a Chromebook and could take it home. We've been able to, through our Gwinnett County Foundation, to
Hmm.
be able to purchase with funds that the foundation has raised more books for our students. We believe at this time that we've got our most urgent needs covered. We purchased 44,000 Chromebooks. We purchased more than 10,000 hotspots, and we distributed those to the students throughout our school system. The funding from the Gwinnett uh, County Foundation has allowed us to purchase even additional Chromebooks. And we are so appreciative that the county commissioners have also contributed funds to our school system through the foundation for the additional purchase of Chromebooks. And
Excellent.
it has been one of the incredible, unexpected growths and findings of COVID. We had our 3 or 4 days of learning, we thought, on computers with no problem in case of snowstorms or in case of
Right.
hurricane,
Sure.
whichever we might find ourselves with. We were not prepared for the 6 months that we've endured So we've been able, with a lot of ingenuity and innovation and a lot of great support from our community, to provide funding so that we've been able to do this for our students. The problem with the Chromebooks, they do wear out, they do get lost, and so there is a continuing need, not only on our part, but on the part of 15,000 school systems in the nation, all of them wanting Chromebooks too.
Yeah. Just to be able to find the supply, that supply chain is difficult, especially when there are companies needing employees even to work and then buying those laptops as well to provide to their employees. So it's a
Absolutely.
right? So it's a competition out there. And then of course you get people that have heard, this is why, for example, I know going through the line at Paul Duke, you had to bring your student with you had to provide student ID to be able to pick up a laptop. Because believe it or not, there's still people out there that want to game the system and maybe get a free laptop for nothing.
Exactly
so,
right.
so that happens too. So security is an issue, right?
Exactly.
And cybersecurity and all that. Also, that
One
happens
other
as
thing,
well.
if I might mention, that we will
Sure.
be able to continue, you asked about the next 6 months. We've
Yeah.
been very appreciative that the Department of Agriculture has allowed us to continue with our food supply and distribution at all of our high schools, at our Title I schools. So this will continue free of charge to the school system until December 31st.
Right.
And the schools are distributing it from 11 to 1 on a daily basis when school is in operation. And there's no need to provide identification. People in the community will have access to it with 18 years and under.
Sure.
And sometimes with 18 years and older, there's not there's no identification required to pick up the lunches
Sure. Sure.
and breakfast.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, food is one thing. I mean, no one should be without that. Um, we're getting towards the end of our time together, but I do have a bunch of other questions I want to put in. So let's see if we can hit some of them fairly easy. Um, how would you grade the current board's handling of COVID-19? We've discussed most of it here, but what grade would you give this board as it exists now? As far as handling the COVID-19 situation?
Well, it's something that we would look to the community to provide the grade,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I certainly try to be reflective here with your question. In the area of innovation, I would grade our board with an A. The innovation that has been, even such a thing when we're talking about the food distribution,
Mhm.
our bus drivers and our cafeteria managers worked together and established a pattern where they would go into the community and distribute food. That was an incredible innovation on their part. Uh, in terms of the classrooms, the kind of mitigation that has been taking place, I'd say innovation and cleanliness and health. I'd give us an A on that for sure. As far as the concern of the community for the care of our teachers, we're very concerned about our teachers. And all that we have done has been not only to mitigate the effects of COVID on our schools, but to mitigate it for the benefit of our teachers who are coming to work and to our students who are either coming to school or having online. We're also, we've also made accommodations through our Human Resources Office for those teachers who are not comfortable coming back to school, if
Mhm.
they have COVID-related um, incidents, that they are work from home. So I would certainly say A to A minus for all of the initiatives that we have underway. It would be for the community to say to us, have we got this right?
Sure.
Have we met your needs? Have we met the needs, especially of the students who had no access to learning online and had no way to be a participant in such an important time in their lives as they have had? So it sounds boastful, Rico, but I am saying to you that I have myself visited 18 schools, and from that sample, I would certainly say we've done a very incredible job. And I'm very proud of our administrators and our staff and our teachers, how much they've risen to the occasion.
Yeah, and I don't think it's boastful when someone talks about this. If you can be aware of how well your board has done, how well you've done, there's nothing wrong with being able to share and say that. Certainly, on the other side of the coin, there will be people saying maybe the school board didn't do enough. And you know what? You're right about grading. This is what elections are about, and there are consequences, right? So if people are happy with what they see and what the school board has done, the leadership remains, right? Hopefully, that's the way life works. It doesn't always work that way, but you know.
May I add to what you've said? Um, we're so very appreciative and proud of Dr. Audrey Arona, who is the director of the Gwinnett Department of Health for Newton, Rockdale, and Gwinnett County. And Dr. Arona has visited our schools, and she has said with an article on the front page of the Gwinnett Daily Post
Right.
that Gwinnett County's response to the coronavirus in the area of health and mitigation is the model for the nation. The model for the nation. And Dr. Arona is highly regarded in the area of public health. And when we hear that, it gives us great encouragement that we're on the right track. So maybe she's also grading us. It's hard to say.
That's right. If I know anything about Gwinnett County being here so long, is that I know the government of Gwinnett County, whether it's education or parks or other areas, do a phenomenal Class A job in what they do. So kudos to you. There are a lot of other things going on also. I know that it's difficult to hire bus drivers as well as teachers sometimes and to fill the gaps of what's needed. Do you support higher pay for bus drivers and teachers?
I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that this year, with our budget, the way we have structured it, 95% of our teaching core, and we have 12,500 teachers, will get a raise. They will get a step raise. They will also not be furloughed, and they will not be laid off. That was an insistence that we had as we put together the budget for this year. And certainly for bus drivers, they are the most, many could say they're the most important component of our school system. They're the first to see our students in the morning, and they're the last to see our students in the afternoon. And so for our bus drivers, who are heroes as well, and sheroes, we've got some tremendous leaders in that area. And we were able to give a bonus to our school bus drivers this most recent academic year. We certainly hope to be able to do that again this year. So especially these two components are the teachers and the bus drivers and the cafeteria managers are what have been able to allow us to have the success that we've had in returning our students to school and providing online learning.
Cool. Do you support the district's current use of school resource officers? And how would that change if you see a change coming?
I definitely support the school resource officer employment in our school system. Rico, we've worked very hard over numbers of years to be able to find in our budget the funds to have 2 school resource officers at every high school. You know, our high schools are very large, 3,500, and they're remarkable leaders. They provide counseling, they provide teaching. And since 2015, school resource officers have provided 8,333 classes teaching in our schools, making certain that our students have the information that they need coming from the schools about safety and about security. Our school resource officers also work with our parent groups on school gangs. We're very, very appreciative of the work they do, and I support increasing the number of school resource officers as our student enrollment grows. We have one at each middle school now, and we have a school resource officer that is shared with elementary schools. It might be in the elementary school area that we would grow the most.
Okay.
So
All right.
definitely for school resource officers.
Excellent. Um, do you see, you have, and I'm not sure if I'm in remiss in not knowing this, I guess, but Gwinnett County Commission, for example, and stream their meetings. City of Peachtree Corners, City Council streams their meetings. There's some transparency about, how people can look at government, find that information. Do you see any change or in transparency or accountability that you would like to see in the school system at this point, especially because of COVID and I think people are more engaged actually being home now even. So, what do you see anything there going on?
Well, I'm very supportive of what we have done to stream our school board meetings. So much of what happens in our school board happens in the business meeting, and that is in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, and then followed by a public meeting at 6:15 and another one at 7. We've had very, very good response from our community about their ability to see and hear and understand in a way that they might not have been if they had not come to a meeting individually. So that's been a great benefit of COVID. And as far as transparency, Rico, Gwinnett County Public Schools, in fact, I took time at our last school board meeting to enumerate the incredible number of ways that Gwinnett County Public School is transparent with our community. For example, every school in our community, 141 schools, has an accountability report that we give to the community on our school, uh, individual school websites. You
Mm-hmm.
click on accountability report, it opens up a 4-page report on the way that the students have performed on standardized tests, what the racial breakdown is, etc. We have numerous reports such as that. The one concern that I have in our community is that people may not be aware, just as I've told you about the COVID-19 reports on a daily basis, they
Mm-hmm.
just may not be aware of how to access those. That would be, I believe, a really great step forward
Sure.
just to make certain that our community, maybe even like a table of contents or an index. Where do you find this and what steps might you take? I believe our community has a commitment of trust with us. They
Mm-hmm.
trust us to be transparent, but we make so many things available. I'm not certain that every community member who wants them knows how to access them. So that would be my response to you. We're transparent, but we need to shout it.
Right,
we
right.
need we need to make certain our community is aware of how to access it.
Yeah, I think people can be, not for anything, I think people can be a little lazy and not wanting to step forward to get the information that's there. But I also think looking at the Gwinnett County Public School website, which is a good looking website, has good information. I think they can make it a little easier navigation wise by one click to be able to get right to that
Right,
information versus
right.
trying to step through the navigation. Just make it real easy and just say school information, or whatever that needs to
And
say, right?
Rigo, if we did that, even I could find a way to get it.
All of us can. So we've done. I think we covered quite a bit over the short period of time we've been able to have together. Um, Appreciate your time doing this with me, Mary Kay.
Oh, I
And
appreciate you doing it with me.
yeah, no, this was good. I'm always learning new things and always picking up more information, and it enlightens me as I hope it does with my viewers. Um, Obviously, you're in a campaign. This is an election season, November 3rd. For those that haven't done the early voting, the absentee ballot, if you're going in to vote or over the next week or so, or on November 3rd, school board elections are there. District 3 is the school board district that Mary Kay Murphy represents, which is the Norcross cluster, the Duluth cluster,
Yes,
any
Peachtree Ridge cluster,
Peachtree Ridge.
River
Okay.
Hill cluster, Lanier cluster, Suwanee cluster, North Gwinnett.
Excellent. So you do have a race. There is an opponent that's running against you, and that's Tanisha Banks. So I just want to be able to put that out there that Tanisha Banks is the opposing candidate on the ballot for school board. Um, so why don't you, and I do this with every candidate that comes on with me, why don't you give us, um, the reason why someone should be voting for you, and also tell them where they can find out more information.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Rico. First of all, thank you and Peachtree Corners Life for the opportunity to have this wonderful hour with you today. I am Mary Kay Murphy, and I'm running for District 3 School Board member here in Gwinnett County Public Schools. I believe that my background and my experience and my record supports my commitment and my desire to have you vote for me, Mary Kay Murphy, for District 3 School Board member. I bring continuity to the board, and that's a terribly important component. We have many members who are new, and there's something great about having new board members, new blood. We have 10 strategic directions, and Rico and I made reference to what would be happening in the next 6 months here. What would be happening in the next 10 years? Strategic Directions 2030. This would be my platform with our community. I will be with the community as we implement these 10 documents, drivers, and the direction, a deeper dive into Gwinnett County Public Schools strategic directions. These specific components of my platform commit to safe and secure schools. And I commit to that with support of 96 school resource officers and additional officers to keep our students and our teachers safe in years to come. I support fiscal stability, and I'm here to share with you that during my time on the board, we've had AAA bond ratings from Standard & Poor's and Moody's for 20 years. That fiscal responsibility has been reflected in the tax that you pay to the school board, and for the last 6 years, you've had no increase in your millage rate. Fiscal stability and honesty and trust and truth. I support school choice. We have not only in-person and online learning in terms of school choice, but we have 2 different kinds of schools, Paul Duke and Norcross. In the Meadow Creek cluster, McClure High School and Meadow Creek High School. And soon in the Mill Creek cluster, the Seconder School for Artificial Intelligence and for Mill Creek. School choice is terribly important to parents, and we have been very pleased to be able to provide that in our work together. I support retaining our teachers and recruiting the very best and making certain that we pay them a very fair salary and that their conditions of employment lead to a successful retirement, and that the retirement funds we pay into our school system will not overlook what great work our teachers have done. I continue to support closing the achievement gap for the students that we have here, all students, all socioeconomic levels, all backgrounds. These students are all ours, and our work together is meant to improve the choices they have in career, college, and civic life. And most importantly, I want to share with you the value that I have for diversity and for equity. I have championed, as we have been able to hire our first chief equity officer in Gwinnett County Public School System. We are in the process of reviewing our discipline code and all components of our system to make sure that our facilities, that our programs, and that every component of Gwinnett County Public Schools would be offered to all our students in an equitable way. These are some of the reasons that I believe my candidacy is the candidacy that you should choose if you should choose to vote for me, Mary Kay Murphy. It has been an honor to serve as your school board member. We've made great success in the years in the past. However, I want to look toward the future and the years ahead. I would greatly appreciate your vote. And if you want to find out more about me, more, better, differently, please visit my website, Mary Kay Works, MaryKaywRks. Mary Kay Works, and my campaign re-elections Cite, re-elect Mary K. Murphy. Thank you so very much for listening to this request. It would be my honor to serve as your incumbent returning Gwinnett County School Board member for District 3. Thank you, Rico, for the opportunity.
Sure. Stay with me for a minute. I want to close out. I want to thank you, Mary Kay, for a great conversation here to be able to discuss issues here in Peachtree Corners. And also, just to so that people understood that website, it's marykworks.com is where you should be going. So it's been a great 45 minutes. Appreciate you being with me. So hang in there for one more moment. I'm just going to close out. Everyone, thank you for being with me on this. We're back in and we're going to be doing some more podcasts. Also, check out our other podcasts. We're going to be doing Capitalist Sage. There's an episode next week. That's a twice a month business podcast that I do. And I believe next week may also, or the Thursday after the fourth Tuesday, we're doing prime lunchtime with the city manager. So we'll be discussing some stuff with him. And also I will be doing a podcast with Councilman Phil Sod and maybe some other council people in next week or so about issues that are coming up in the election as far as what's on the ballot with transit and all that. So hang in there. Lots of stuff coming. Like our Facebook page if that's where you are not at. Go find it. It's Peachtree Corners Life. And check out our lead sponsor, Hargray Fiber. So I want to thank you, everyone, for being with me. And you be safe out there. Have a great day.